Hi, Algebra 2 students. My name is Ms. Leminski, and I will be teaching you math this year at Edina High School. I wanted to take a few minutes to give you an introduction to what you should expect next week, our first week of school. It looks quite different than what the future will look like, so I thought it would be important for us to try to gain a little bit better understanding of what's expected of you in math class next week. In order to do that, I am also going to introduce you to some things that you will always find on our Schoology page and some things specific to next week. You do not yet have access to Schoology. I believe I've been told that it'll pop up in yours starting on Monday, but this should be everything you need to know until I see you. Okay, so anytime you go into Schoology, I'm going to put a week at a glance in a calendar form that looks like what you see here. And I'm going to come back and talk about that in a little bit because that's going to be important for us all year long. Right underneath of the calendar, there will be a folder with everything we're doing that week. Okay, so this week, it's called Week 1 ABA. After Week 1, it will be the chapter that we're currently working on. That's going to be the folder you need to go into to get any work that needs to be done. Underneath that folder, I will keep my office hours posted with a link for the live or for the virtual office hours. So just a quick recap. Mondays and Thursdays, I will be available in person before school from 7:45 to 8:30. So those would be for students who are coming to the hybrid and want to stop into my classroom. So for your first half of the alphabet, you'd come on Monday morning, second half, you'd come Thursday morning. But for everybody, whether you're an EVA student or someone working at home, I will also have virtual office hours on Monday afternoon from 3:16 to 4:01 and Thursday afternoon from 3:16 to 4:01. If you ever want to join the virtual office hours, you're going to click this link right here. Under that is where you will go if you're ever going to join my class live via a Google Meet. This will be important for EVA students and hybrid students when you're at home when I ask you to come join class. Having said that, for next week, EVA students, I would strongly encourage you to join the class period you would be in if you were in the hybrid at the beginning of your class time. If you are unable to make it, there will be a video where you can get the information, but by joining the live class, I'll be able to start to put a face to the name and you'll make sure you don't miss any announcements that are made. When we get to the point where we're done with the introduction stuff, then you'll be able to sign off and go about your day. Okay, so again, to click the live class link, you would just go click here to join live class at the beginning of your hour, and it'll bring you to a Google Meet. I strongly encourage you to join that Google Meet for me, as some of this is problem solving and making sure that we have systems set up to help you guys as best we can. So if we can start to look at that next week, that'll help us the following week when we start digging into more math. All right, now for the schedule for everybody. It's a little bit confusing next week. Next week we're doing block days. So when we look at this calendar up here, you can see that Tuesday and Wednesday, you are only focusing on your even classes. So hours 2, 4, and 6. Those are the only 3 classes you're working on Tuesday and Wednesday. One of those days, you'll be in person with your even class, and one of those days, you'll be at home working on your asynchronous assignment for that class. So for example, if my last name is Anderson, I am going to be in my second hour class on Tuesday. If my last name is Anderson, I will be at home on Wednesday working on my asynchronous assignment for my second hour class. Now, if I'm an EVA student with the last name of Anderson, then I need to come down here so I know what time my class starts at. So if you're an Anderson EVA student in my second hour, you are going to click on that live link at 8:30 a.m. Okay, so you actually have to use all 3 of these calendars a little bit to figure out where you're at. It's very confusing, but hopefully the school and the district have communicated this as well. Okay, so what I want you to do real quick is think of what your last name is. So figure out where you're at on here, which of the 4 groups you're in basically, okay? Because if my last name starts with an F, I wouldn't come till the afternoon on Tuesday, okay? So it's a little confusing. If you're an EVA student and you join at the wrong time, that's okay. We'll figure it out as we go, but I would ideally like you to join your class you would be in if you were in person. Okay, so now back to what are we going to be doing in math. Okay, so you have one day live with me and one day where you're expected to do an at-home assignment, which we call ABAs. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But when we look at our calendar for this class, and it'll look the same all year, there's a classwork section in red, an ABA section in yellow, homework for tonight. So that's what everybody needs to do that night in green, and then things due later that day, or they'd be considered late, or any upcoming due dates. Okay, so it's pretty much a one-stop shop for everything you need for the whole week. Okay, so here we go. If you are the Anderson student that I talked about in my second hour, you would go to Tuesday and you would look here. You're going to be in class that day, so your classwork, we're going to be talking about policies, procedures, and getting to know you. Okay, so that's what we're doing on that day when you're in class with me. If you had the last name of Slominski like I do, I'd be in school on Wednesday doing the same thing. Now, ABA stands for Attendance-Based Assignments. For those of you who were at the middle schools last year, this is a big change from the way middle school did distance learning to the way high school did. At the high school, every single class takes individual attendance on you. That means that every class will tell you what the ABA, attendance-based assignment, is for that day when you are working from home. You need to complete whatever a teacher for every class says is your ABA by 3:30 that day to be marked present. Okay? So if I'm Slominski, which I am, in the second hour, on Tuesday I won't be in school, so I don't have classwork, but I must do the yellow, the ABA. So on Tuesday, I'm going to do the All About Me assignment and the Flipgrid assignment in Schoology. Okay? So now I'm going to go to my Week 1 ABA folder. That's where I find everything I need to do. And I'm going to show you what you need to work on. Okay, so at 3:30 on Tuesday, I would need to complete this All About Me personal. It is a Google Drive assignment, so hopefully you've done those before. You click on that. I think yours might be a little different, but because this is the master copy, but this is what mine looks like. It'll automatically make a copy for you. And then you can see here it says fill in the text boxes to answer all the questions. Now it is kind of small, so if you want to make it bigger, you can click up here on the little magnifying glass. I'll go up to 100% because then I just have to scroll. But then when I want to fill in my name, I would just click here and fill in my name. Okay, 3 of my favorite things, click here, fill it in. And then when you finish this assignment, you would click submit. Okay, so make sure you don't forget to submit it because that's when I know you've done it. And I can learn about you. The second thing I'm going to have you do, and usually ABAs aren't 2 things, but they're both short. The second thing I want you to do is a Flipgrid activity for me. Okay, so this will be based on your hour. So if you're in my 3rd hour, you would click on this one. If you're on my 4th hour, you would click on this one. But the Flipgrid activity, once you click there, you have to click on the link, is a way for me, most importantly, to learn how to pronounce your name correctly. Those of you who were in class last week, this week, I shared that learning names is one of the harder things for me. So this year I'm going to go with the Flipgrid to put a face with a name and to hear you pronounce it correctly. So these 4 questions are the ones I want you to record in your response. It's a maximum of 2 minutes, but you do not have to do all 2 minutes. Just answer these questions and just know that I am the only one that'll be watching it. I'm not making it public for the class, so you can share with me and it won't be shared anywhere else. So the first thing you're going to do is say your name, speak it clearly and correctly so that I can pronounce it correctly for you. This would be a case where if you're a Jonathan, but you go by John, you would say John Anderson so that I learned the right name for you. Now, in addition, if there's a name you prefer to be called other than your main name, this would be the time to let me know. You could say, so if you're John but you go by JJ, you could say something like, I'm Jonathan Anderson, but I like to be called JJ. One word that you would use to describe your experience with distance learning last spring, make sure it's school appropriate. Everything you do in my class is going to be school appropriate, right? And then last but not least, what is one thing you're looking forward to this school year? Once you record that and submit it, you are done for your asynchronous activity for the day. Okay? So as a summary, you will do 2 things for me. If you are an even hour in my class, so 2, 4, or 6 in Algebra 2, one of those days you'll be in class going over policies, procedures, and we'll be getting to know each other. If you're an EVA student in 2, 4, or 6, you'll be joining me live using that link below. And then the other day where your part of the alphabet is not in my class, you'll be doing those 2 activities I just showed. Similarly, Thursday and Friday are my odd block days. So 1, 3, 5, and 7. If you have me for those hours, 1, 3, 5, or 7, when you are in class with me based on alphabet, we'll be doing the same policies, procedures, and getting to know you. And on the other day, when you are at home because of the name of your alphabet, you would be doing those 2 activities. Last but not least, homework for tonight. You can see this is one that regardless of your alphabet, you need to look at the whole thing. There's no homework Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, okay? Because again, the ABA is technically during school. It's not homework. Homework would be at night after school is over. But on Friday / over the weekend, before school on Monday, I need everybody to watch their first video, 1-1A video, okay? And when we are in class on next week, I will show you where to find that. I don't have that folder up yet, but we'll get that up, and so you'll know by Friday when you've been in my class what you should watch for that. All right, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I look forward to meeting you guys all next week, and I will see you then. Thanks.